afternoon, everyone. You are in the Fraley kitchen here in Georgetown, Kentucky, and today I am going to make a mystery filling cake. I have had this recipe from Aunt Betty Lee in Gardendale, Alabama for many years. In fact, I've been making this cake since I was in high school. Now, I depend on Duncan Hines cake mix to make this cake. This is the devil's food cake. I've got my pans already prepared. The oven is preheating. I've measured my water and oil. So now we're going to add 3 eggs. Cake mix just requires 3 ingredients: oil, water, eggs. We'll start the mixer at a slow speed and then we'll increase it because we only have to beat it about 2 minutes. Scrape the sides. Beat another minute. And we're ready to put it in the pan. All right, the cakes are done after cooking at 350 for about 24 minutes. I've gotten the first one out of the pan. Let's see if the second one is going to come out. Oh, it's a little stuck. Yay! It came out clean. So we're going to let these cool while I make the filling. The first part of the filling takes a cup of milk and 4 tablespoons of flour, and we will cook it until it thickens. Now, I'm not real exact about the flour, 4 tablespoons. And here's our 4th tablespoon of flour. Turn on the eye a little higher than low. And just begin to stir with a whisk. I like to use a whisk because, of course, it makes things smoother. And you want this really smooth. And we will cook it until it gets thick. It takes several minutes. Our milk and flour has gotten nice and thick. I did have to raise the temperature to make it cook a little bit easier. And I'm gonna stick it in the freezer so it will really get cool. Also, this helps thicken it up just a little bit, I think. So there it is in the freezer. And then we'll start the shortening and sugar part of the filling. That's the base, the flour and the milk. I've already got my stick of butter cut up and soft in the bowl. We'll add our Crisco, half a cup of Crisco to 1 cup of butter. And I like to put the vanilla in with the shortening. I think it helps the flavor. You can really taste the vanilla. Always shake up the vanilla container. 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And I don't use imitation. I like to use real vanilla. We'll start the mixer. It takes a lot of beating. Again, I'll scrape the sides Get that Crisco really beat in well to the butter and the vanilla. Now, little by little, we will add 1.5 cups of sugar. And you're not gonna hear and watch this whole beating process. It takes a while. But 1.5 cups of sugar to 1/2 cup of Crisco, a stick of butter, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And you add it a little at a time. Okay. The butter and sugar flavoring are all mixed. You can tell it's ready because it's white. Now we get the flour and the milk mixture out of the freezer, and it really helps to have it in the freezer. We will add it a little at a time to this mixer. And you all, I used to make this with a hand mixer. Took forever. But then our daughters gave me this nice KitchenAid several years ago for Mother's Day, and it's awesome. Comes in really handy in making especially this mystery filling. Have to scrape the sides again. I'm a big scraper. And it's nice and fluffy. Next, I will split the layers of the cake. Again, this does not have to be exact. And when I make a mistake, I just fill in with the filling. And a lot of times you can't tell that the layers are uneven. I mean, I try to get them as even as I can. Now that layer could have been a little thicker. Oh well. And this is why this is called mystery filling. It's like one of those Hostess cupcakes that has the white filling inside. Last year I learned this is just as good made with a yellow cake mix and just a buttercream frosting instead of a chocolate frosting. And I will spread this around a little bit. We want to try to get about 1/3 of the filling on this layer because I've got to put it between 2 more layers. And again, just do it the best you can. I do not go close to the edge because of the chocolate frosting that goes on the outside. That's about 1/3. We'll get this layer in place. Line it up just a little bit. And I see I need to kind of correct this right here. So I'll just put a little filling in there to hold that layer up. Put another 1/3. We're on the last layer to spread the mystery filling around. It's really creamy now, really light and fluffy. So that's good. Trying to get it even so this last layer will go on pretty well. We take the last part and just flip it over. And I think that's gonna work. We're ready to make our chocolate frosting. Actually, this is like a buttercream frosting with cocoa added. I've already sifted the confectioner's sugar with 4 tablespoons of cocoa and a dash of salt. I've got my half a stick of butter in the mixing bowl. Need to add a teaspoon of vanilla. We'll beat this very quickly. We'll add 3 tablespoons of milk. I'll just add 1 right now. If we need a little more, we can always add more. I'll add a little of the confectioner's sugar cocoa mixture just to get us started. We'll beat this in a little at a time. And we'll alternate with the milk and with the sugar mixture until we have our frosting all the way finished. Well, our frosting is made, this confectioner's sugar buttercream frosting with cocoa added. I did have to add a little more milk than I said just to make it creamier. I like to start frosting the sides first. And now, do you see why this is called a mystery filling cake? Because the mystery is in between the layers, which you really don't see until you cut the cake. We'll get all the sides frosted and then put the frosting on the top. Our cake is done. The sides are iced, the top is iced. Now you all, this is a cake you'd want to take to a potluck or over to somebody's house, and that's all you take. Or a birthday dinner like our oldest daughter. But it freezes well, it also keeps well, and let's see what it looks like inside. You know, the first piece is always the hardest to get out, so we'll see. Also, a scoop of vanilla ice cream is almost a must, so it won't be too terribly rich. And there we have it, our mystery filling cake, ready to eat with some vanilla ice cream. Thank you, William, for thinking this up, and we are so grateful for all of our ministers keeping us on track through the last several weeks. We love you all.